All right. Yeah, so this is the first time I'm doing this. And apologies, I am sick. Excuse me. But yeah, so I am going to be streaming the top 100 best games as part of the David Perry Challenge, which I'll talk about in some future time. Mostly I'm just letting letting perfect not be the enemy of good. And I'm just starting. So on pretty much every list ever, Breath of the Wild is right up there. So the David Perry Challenge is about analyzing the gameplay mechanics just to understand why people like it. So I'm going to be looking at gameplay mechanics, graphics, art style, sound and music, the story and theme, the emotional fun factor, innovation and creativity, as well as some of my criticisms and improvements, and my overall impressions. So mostly I'm just going to be playing the game and talking about it while I'm playing it. So this is first off, I gotta say, I really freaking love this game. It definitely has problems, which I'll talk about, but I think that I'm going to be playing the game and trying to think of it from the perspective of why do other people like this game? Why does it continually rank in the highest, even with its flaws? I only have about an hour today, but normally my streams are going to be 2 or 3 hours long.
Open your eyes.
Good, it's in English.
Wake up, Link.
Good old Nintendo trope. Link starting out asleep. Couldn't have it any other way. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, I have like so many years ago, 2017 when this game came out, so so like 7 years ago when this game was on its final legs of being released, I picked it up and just was absolutely blown away by this game. And I made a video series talking about the Zelda series as a whole and how they all kind of contributed something to this game existing. And it's funny watching it now. It's a little naive because I hadn't played this game, and this game certainly has flaws. But it's also kind of impressive how well they've captured so much of the original Zelda's open world, non-linear exploration kind of feel in this game. Alright, so the parallels between this and the original Zelda are pretty interesting. Kind of like this beginning scenario where the focus is on exploring and going through things. They start the game out so slow. And
Hold the Sheikah slate up to the pedestal.
I don't even know if slow is the right word. They start the game out not action oriented. They give you time to just get used to the controls in a really quiet. There's no music. You got to get your little smartphone here and start playing around with it. It's not until you step out here that the game shows you how open it is.
Our light. That must shine upon Hyrule once again. Now go.
I always have to relearn the controls when I pick this game up again. They're slightly non-intuitive. I'm really not sure the best way to fix those. I haven't really done a deep dive into that, but this scene, oh my gosh. I mean, they showed this in the credits or in all the trailers and everything for when this game came out. It's the de facto, this is what this game is. I think they managed to capture the way this game feels in this single shot so well. That vastness, the openness, the fog, the way things fade off into the distance and they're like layers of colors, more saturated, closer to the camera. The art direction on this game is just incredible. I think it's one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen. Yeah, even all of this is so similar to what was originally intended for the original Zelda game. You don't start with anything, you know. Oh no, those controls are different than what they were in Tears of the Kingdom. And then I love this old man in a cave throwback. Pretty interesting. Yeah, I don't really want to talk to you right now. Okay, teaching you lots of mechanics here. And then they don't even give you a sword right away. They give you an axe. So what are the conventions that they're breaking? What was that? I forgot. Yeah, here we go. And then it's not until you get this far that they you run into enemies. So the combat, I have mixed feelings about the combat. It's really flexible. It's not... I liked Wind Waker's. Out of all the Zelda games, I liked Wind Waker's combat the best. Let's see. Alright, so... The... Excuse me, sorry. Sick.
Link. Head for the point marked on the map in your Sheikah slate.
So heavy-handed. No, it's not super heavy-handed. I like playing it in master mode without all of the things in the bottom right corner. Alright, so a lot of games do environmental storytelling. That is definitely not new to this game. Okay, so all of these different weapons. Very non-traditional Zelda here. Wow, the little preview on OBS is really up to date. It's pretty cool. It's so cool. Man, the Zelda nerd me just loves this plateau area. I mean, I think most people are like this, but spend a lot of time in this particular portion. Now, that's interesting. What is this for? Is this a place for people to get married or something? Oh, what's this? Symbol on the ground. Are there 3 buildings? Well, now I'm super curious. Based on the symbol on the ground there, I'm wondering if there are 3 separate buildings, one for each of the goddesses. Let's see, what's the symbol on this floor? Take that, he said to me. Now I love that the axe and is a weapon as well as cuts down trees. I find that to be a good touch. Oh, Hylian trousers. Nice. New pants. Let's see, what's the symbol on this? Is it the water one? Yeah. Well, I just discovered a new thing. Breath of the Wild today. How exciting. But so I remember there were so many people that didn't traditionally play video games that played Breath of the Wild. I remember there was a mom was who didn't play video games but her kids did, would wait for her kids to go to school so she could play. And then they'd like share stories and stuff when the kids would get back. And my wife, who will play video games sometimes, but it's not her favorite pastime, would play this game like non-stop. And she actually got good at combat from playing this game, and now plays more combat-focused games, action-oriented games, because of how much practice she got with this one. Now, at the same time, when I tried to get my mom to play this game, she was like, "What do I do?" She was so not used to the video game conventions that she just felt lost. So I found that pretty interesting. Here, let me sign into chat. Un momento. Awesome. Now, I have no idea how this works, but apparently people can like join the stream and attack with the bow. Motion controls are... Man, I don't know who it was, Nintendo or... It was probably Nintendo. With the Wii first and their gimmicks. Shield. Okay, just in time instructions for everything. They don't teach you how to get a bow or to use the bow until you pick up the bow. They don't teach you how to use your shield until you pick up a shield. They don't teach you how to swing a weapon until you pick up a weapon. That's pretty great. Alright. So... Alright, so the Sheikah Towers. Let's see. What do I think of the Sheikah Towers? I think that the Sheikah Towers act as fantastic beacons on the map to draw you around the map. So if you're not super interested in it or feeling lost in any particular structure off in the distance, then the Sheikah Towers, the way they light up at night, and they're so easy to see, and they give you a reward and things like that. I think that for the early game, they act as really great. Oh my. Now, this was not obvious to me that all of these were coming up around the world all at the same time. Like, I guess it kind of was, but I didn't catch that the first time I played the game. Like, because you never see the world without them up, I thought it was interesting that people would talk about how all the shrines and the towers all popped out, but that was not new, right? They were new. What am I trying to say? Game mechanics, core mechanics. How do they work and interact? Story time. Okay, there's so few story times in this game.
You have been asleep for the past 100 years. The beast. When the beast regains its true power, this world will face it. Now then, you must hurry, Link. Before it's too late.
Okay, that's interesting. The first thing that is new, depending on how much you've explored, is really easy to see if you move the camera around right there. So then we need to figure out how to get down, and this is the part where anyone that's not familiar with how games work seems to have a really hard time with this, because it takes all of that camera manipulation. Clearly I've played this game more than once. Look, I can walk down a tower. Alright, I've definitely played this enough times that I'm not like super interested. in what he says. But from the perspective of other people, yeah. Okay, so they've erupted across the land. I heard a voice. That's exciting. So I don't remember anything. But Zelda remembers me. Alright, everybody, welcome, the folks that are just joining. Welcome to my first time streaming. So, I'm a game designer. I work in the industry. And I thought that I would simultaneously try to flex my continuing education by studying a bunch of highly rated games and talk about it while I did it. And see if we can look at these games as if they were from a game designer perspective, and see what they did right and what they did wrong, and what we can take to other games and what could be improved on. Yeah, that is the purpose of the David Perry Challenge. David Perry has about 1 million games. He's a game designer. He wrote the book on game design, I believe. And he follow him. So much slower. I'm so much faster than he is. Excuse me. Apologize. I am sick, so I'm trying to keep as many coughs off the stream as possible. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how well the audio and stuff sounds. I mean, this is just a test. Yeah, I want that paraglider, man. I'm gimped without my paraglider. Yeah, I love this. Every single time there's some new... Oh, they put water in between us. That's interesting. So then you have to figure out how to swim. And you're gonna die. Accessibility. Yeah, so the David Perry Challenge, so in like 2013, it was like forever ago, David Perry was on a YouTube channel called Design 3, and he was being interviewed, and he made this public challenge that for any game designer that wants to flex their chops, or up-and-coming game designer, they should play a whole bunch of games. So the example he gave was like, you go into an interview, and then they're like, well, what do you think of Pokemon? But you're like, oh, I've never played Pokemon. Like, gone through school and everything, but I've never actually had broad exposure to all of these different genres or games that were clearly very impactful. So he suggested to use a website like Ranker or whatever it was back in the day, and then play down the top 100 games and basically write a book report about it, about why it worked and what didn't work. For all 100 games. And then if you did that, and let him know, he would endorse you in a job interview on your resume. And so I thought that was pretty cool, and I've attempted to do this challenge more than once, but life gets in the way, and I've never gotten further than maybe 20 or so games. So I figured I was just going to start streaming them. Alright, these are really useful. Okay, so let's talk about this. This shrine is interesting. This is the first time you get into a shrine. It's very different from the rest of the game. It has music, right? It's very mysterious. There's nothing you can do but walk over to this. And you've done a couple of these. This is where you got your Sheikah slate in the first place. It's the thing that got the Sheikah tower lifted up from the ground. I guess I didn't get the... Oh, I got the map. Yeah, I got the map before, when it was still on the ground. And I was like, whoa, man, I don't remember doing that. Got distracted. Alright, so I don't know that I love the collect all of your abilities at the beginning of the game thing. This is really only in comparison to other Zelda games. But it's not my favorite. And the thing where you control Magnesis, they absolutely made that better. The controls are just so much better in Tears of the Kingdom. I played Tears of the Kingdom for a while, and then came back to play this one, and I was like, man, if I could just mod Breath of the Wild to have the controls of... nope, that's not it. Have the controls of Tears of the Kingdom, that'd be great. Get out of here! Yeah, Hoboken. Alright. I actually don't remember getting a sword. That's pretty great. It's funny. What if I got that from a treasure chest or something? Now what's cool about these puzzles in this game is I've got mixed feelings about them as a designer, but my 5-year-old loves them because they all make intuitive sense because he understands the basics of physics. And so he doesn't have to try very hard to like learn a brand new set of physics just to play this game. And so he's still learning how to manipulate the controller and things like that. But if I play the game and he watches with me, then he can pick them up and he can talk me through how to solve most of the puzzles. And that's pretty great. So that's very accessible. Like I said, I have mixed feelings about the puzzles in this game because they're the extreme lack of traditional dungeons is extreme lack of traditional dungeon, and it makes me sad. I wish there was much more traditional dungeons. Okay, so everything that you do in this game is pointing towards the eventual confrontation between you and Ganon, Calamity Ganon. That's pretty interesting in that everything's just basically training, you know, like traditional storytelling. The story and theme and the world building and things, they all point towards, you know, a more handcrafted narrative. And this one is so open that if you're expecting emotional, like handheld emotional depth, or what meant plot, I guess if you're expecting plot, you'll get none. However, I feel like they've managed to ride this line between, you know, your completely open Minecraft style storytelling where there isn't any, and your Last of Us or Uncharted level of, or you know, Half-Life 2 or something level of detail that just brings you through a very crafted narrative. Yeah. Alright. I also am not sure that I love fast travel. And yet I use it all the time. But I feel like it takes away from the exploring. Similar to, and we'll get to this when I get down to playing Tears of the Kingdom in several weeks. There are several quality of life additions to Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild that are contrary to the core theme. Wow, this old man is very, very fast. Alright. Nope, not that one. Boop. Can I see them all from here? Boop. Boop. Alright. And down the tower we go again. Let's see. As far as tutorials go, this has all of the Nintendo polish all over it. They they put so much into this tutorial. And I love that you're able to explore the entire place so openly. And when they were demoing it at E3, they essentially just let you explore this whole area. You know, there was nothing. They weren't like, here, play some curated version of the game while you're here at E3. It was like, here, just play the game. And the tutorial is so well made and can be approached in so many different ways that it's just genuinely good at being a microcosm of what the whole rest of the game is. Without overwhelming the player. That's pretty cool. Again, man, I'm just coughing and coughing. These things terrify my 5-year-old. I actually don't remember how to shoot them back. Don't really feel like dying right now. They're quite terrifying the first time I came across them. And when they start walking, like, that's real fear. Definitely real fear. Pew, quick, quick, quick. So I played this game on Master Mode for a while. And the game is completely different because the enemies are so much harder. You just kind of avoid them. I thought that was an interesting difference. If you want to do a case study on what adjusting enemy health and regenerating health does to how a player approaches it, this is a pretty good game for that. The bomb trial. Shabaij. I imagine the inclusion of the sphere and the cube bombs came from prototyping, and then they were like, I don't know, it's... They're like, you know the controls. I don't actually know the controls. And then you're like, oh, maybe I should use the... They work quite well, though. A claymore. Two-handed? Yeah, I don't really love the two-handed swords.
Yep.
Alright, this one confused the ever-living heck out of my 5-year-old. He had no idea what to do. Aw, man. What a bummer. Who's one? Set it down. There we go. Okay. All of the puzzles being physics-based is interesting? I don't know. It's one of my main criticisms is the puzzles in the dungeons. I feel like they are interesting. But this managed to confuse me the first time I was here because I was very much used to Portal puzzles where everything is there for a reason. There is no reason to have any additional stuff unless it can be used or manipulated or something. So this ball bouncing back and forth is there as an example, and I think it's a good one. However, I did keep trying to find the location to use that, and that's just my... I've done a lot of puzzle games. Glorious. So glorious. Kind of fun to just blast through these. But kind of wish that I could experience them for the first time. I have not experienced them for the first time in 7 years. Now I've got kids and family and work and stuff like that, so I don't play games as much as as much as other people. However, it is very fun to be able to step back and play some of these games again. Do I want to bomb that? No, I don't. I just don't want to get that. Give that guy a direct line of sight. Ah, yes, the tacky Nintendo Switch shirt. It is in fact very tacky. Okay, so sometimes, because it doesn't actually get dark in this game, the moon's much too big for that. Come on. I often don't really know what time it is. Like I know it's night-ish, and I know. Where's the head? Where's your head? Why are you guys running away? Could have sworn they were supposed to all go down if the head, if their heads were cut off. Down into the depths. There are definitely lots of ways to get around here. Only one time have I ever actually put together the recipe and gotten the winter doubloon, or whatever it is. Doubloon. That's not the right word. Doublet? I don't know, I'm not gonna get it. I'm just gonna cook a chili recipe and get on with my life. So, I don't really like crafting systems. I don't mind them, but I don't love them, right? So, it's typically like I'll play around with the crafting for the game's sake, but I won't like go deep. In fact, the first time I played this game, I was playing it with my wife, and she didn't want to do any of the combat because that was all scary and new, and I didn't want to do any of the recipe crafting. I would just like constantly get caught with not enough recipes, and I would like get a game over like 3 times in a row instead of just going over and you know, making a recipe. So that was pretty funny. I still feel that way. I feel that way about Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom went so heavy into the custom build stuff. It's no longer really. Once it became like Roblox, Zelda Roblox, I was like, this just isn't really made for me. I think it's a tremendous technical achievement and still really fun, but oh no, definitely not my favorite. Let's try that again. Climbing. There's so much climbing in this game, and I find it amazing how much climbing you can do. And then you're like, what am I doing with my life? I'm just climbing mountains and then jumping off them over and over and over. Pretty funny. Yeah, I would say that this tutorial is up there, as far as I've seen so far. This is up there as maybe the best tutorial ever made. Getting these mushrooms, but I'm not actually using them because I would have to like craft them. Really is just a microcosm of the entire game in a much safer area. Little barren as far as enemies and NPCs, but that's kind of the point. Kind of love that. Yeah, like what do you do in the rest of the game that you don't do at least once in the tutorial? There's talking to people. There's combat. There's bow and arrow. What was that guy? Is he up there? Shrines, Sheikah Tower, cutscenes. Fast travel. You don't ride a horse. You don't buy stuff. You do crafting. You can catch grass on fire, korok leaves. You make rafts. Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. What's the implications of that? Does that make the whole rest of the game boring if you don't ever do anything new? Maybe? Boring, quote unquote. That's the very angry way of saying that. Stasis, this thing that I never really used. Basically used it for puzzles. Time is a resource. I remember how to get that. That didn't work. I thought I was all cool for a second. Alright, big ol' hammers. What's the minimum? Well, that's definitely not the minimum. I wonder if you could get away with just hitting it once. Some exponential calculations there. Yeah, so a couple of people have hopped in, watched for a couple of seconds, and then left. Because I just hopped in and started doing things, I just started moving the scaffolding around at the gym there. I wonder if it would be useful for me to create actual oh, see, it's nighttime. Doesn't really look like nighttime to me. Create like an introduction video to this stream here. But also maybe make handcrafted. Oh yeah, I didn't get any chilies, and I'm not a speedrunner. How am I gonna do this? Darn. Let's see what I can do. How far can I make it? Or maybe there's some chilies around here. No! Oh my goodness. This is not working as I'd intended. Just maxing out my stamina. That's what I do. Freaking noob. Freaking noob. Dead. Remember playing this game the first time and just dying so many times. It was just so easy to die. I thought it was hilarious. You just die so easy. That just-in-time tooltip, that was good. Alright, so let's travel on down to here, get some chilies, make a nice little recipe. Shrine of Resurrection. Ugh. So little stamina at the beginning of this game. Trying to go. Ah, yeah, over there. Nearest cooking pot. Probably down here. I don't have a paraglider. Yeah, I would say... Oh, because it's so hard not to do comparisons. In Tears of the Kingdom, they introduced you to your... They give you your paraglider so late that by the time you get it, you're like, why don't I have this already? Because all of your other movements are like zip through walls and stuff like that. And so you can go so fast, so far. Return to game, cook. Twelve and a half minutes. All right. Whereas this one, they really let you get used to exploring the ground. Like Tears of the Kingdom, it's like you just fly everywhere and you're above everything. Or you, depending on if you want to build stuff, which I didn't want to, then you just drive everywhere and run into things and on some unholy machine that you put together. So, I'll be really interested to do a design deep dive on Tears of the Kingdom later after having analyzed and talked about this one. Because there's not as much like what's the design core difference between this game and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, this one is all about exploring. Everything's exploring. It's do it at your own time, non-linear exploration. Everything supports that core focus, except for a few exceptions, like the fast travel doesn't have any limitations or stuff like that. And it's just so fun to just be in the world, be in the wild, right? That's what makes this game feel so great. But Tears of the Kingdom is more open and more maneuverable, but it doesn't have the same core theme. So when we get there, I'm gonna put a whole lot of thought into that. Oh, that doesn't work. I feel like that should work. There's a red barrel. I play video games. I'm supposed to be able to shoot those things. That pushing the rock mechanic's a little wonky. Oh, good job, mister, with your shield. Amber. I don't even know what to do with Amber. Random loot. Behind a blue guy. I was so excited because it was a blue guy. Okay. So definitely getting into the rhythm of how to play these games. Let's see that. Nope. Nope. That. There we go. Whee! Clearly I use this all the time, based on how I've had to relearn the things like twice. Glad it's added in. I feel very Legolas. Ah! Oh, that was gnarly close. Hey, punk. Oh yeah, the lack of hearts. That's like a thing. I mean, in context, there's so many things different about this game from other Zelda games. But at the same time, I'm not sure I want to focus on that. I think I want to focus on what they did instead of what they didn't. Like, yes, this game is good in a derivative sense, but it's also good by itself. So I want to be able to capture what that... what is that like? Alright, I got about 10 more minutes, and then I need to cut the stream short. I think I get it, though. I mean, I've played this game a bunch of times. Off stream, I'm going to put together my actual analysis, and then I'm not committing to anything, but I think it would be valuable to put together an actual, edited video that talks about this game. why I think it's done well, why people love it. Oh yeah, this one. And I think the last rune is a photo, right? The camera. That did nothing for me. That's right. Take that, mister. Yeah, I haven't played this game in a while. It definitely feels like coming back to an old friend. I have criticisms about this game that maybe I'll do a video about someday. But they're like criticisms because it's so close to perfect that I'm just mad that it's not perfect. So apparently it takes me an hour or so to get through this tutorial. I kind of feel like that's been my experience every time I've started this game. It takes me about an hour. I wonder when they were demoing it at E3 if they, because I seem to remember they gave people a lot of time to play it, like a lot of time, somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour or something. And if they were just like, well, it's not possible, even going super fast to beat the game in an hour, or to beat the tutorial, get off the plateau in an hour. I mean, those speedrunners, though. They broke that. Alright. Quickest way. So... that cross comes to the Temple of Time. Put a good old red stamp right there. That's where I'm trying to go. Ooh, I wasn't watching. Glad I didn't die. Holy moly. Alright, so gameplay mechanics, core mechanics. Well, you've got your combat and your exploration and your crafting. The combat is fine. You know, it's good enough, right? It's pretty fluid and flexible. It's not super snappy. It's got good lock-on mechanics. Am I going to be able to make it across here? No. What was I thinking? Oh, maybe I can make it across there. It is definitely accessible. I'll use my wife as an example. in that she had no problem playing the game all the way up to the point where it was combat, and then she was able to like avoid combat, or mostly just avoid combat, or you know, totally deck herself out with recipes. So the game is unforgiving if you don't take the initiative to do it. So, you know, like me, I don't have any recipes or anything. I'm just running around with my 3 hearts, and I'm not healing. And do I have recipes? Yeah, I could eat something. So I'll do that. But falling down, you die really quickly. You come back at whatever last save spot, so last shrine or teleport you did. So I feel like they've managed to, that's an interesting point. They've managed to make the game hardcore while also making the game very accessible and easy. As easy as you want it to be, right? Maybe that's what you're able to capture the open world, Dark Souls-esque, don't really know what's going on, I'm just kind of living in the world because the world is interesting by itself feeling. And then from there, you can make it as hard or easy as you want. Now then there's the master mode, which is a way to make it even harder for the people that were like, the base combat and stuff is not hard enough for me. So yep, I've got a hard stop, so I'm gonna go, but it was fun, and we'll figure out this stream thing. Toodaloo.